guys, so I have some Astro dice right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these. I'm going to pull them from this bag, and then we're going to roll them, and we're going to use that kind of guide us for this reading. There is one that has the planets, one that has the house number, and the one that has the planets. The signs. So if you're not familiar with astrology, it's okay. I'll kind of explain it, and then you can kind of see what the energy is. And even if it's something that you don't have in your house, like say it's like the sun in, you know, your second house or whatever, and that would mean that you are somebody who is able to express yourself fully, verbally or through words. But I'll explain that. And it doesn't have to be something that is true to your chart. It could be, maybe that's a sign for you, but it also could be, maybe that's something that you're dealing with right now. So I just thought that would be kind of a neat little thing to do. So I'm only going to pick 2. That way it doesn't complicate things. And the first dice is, okay, we have Cancer. So, I got to pick one of these things. All right. Oh, and I have the house number. So this will be how you're nurturing, you're mothering, your home life. You know, whatever house this happens to be in, that'll be kind of how that works together with that. Okay. Oop, I moved over to Scorpio, but maybe that means something to you. So, oh, and that is the 8th house, which, you know. Okay, so this is kind of like your deeper desires, your you know, your 8th house is your, you know, your desires, your other people's money, things like this. This is kind of like our pleasures, and it's also our deep core self. So this is kind of like how your home life, or how you nurture, how you like to be nurtured in those aspects. So it's very watery, whatever this is. Okay, so maybe whoever this is, maybe you have that in your 8th house. Maybe you have Cancer in your 8th house. Actually, I think I do, don't I? No, my husband does. So yeah, so that's kind of like where that is. So it's kind of like a blending of like the nurturing water part of somebody, but it's also, you know, the deep depth part of the water signs. You know, that could bring up a lot of things. So, and a lot of times there are people that, you know, maybe there are some deep themes within your household. So, or, you know, even with the mother, sometimes Cancer can be your relationship with your mother, whether you, it's a mothering type, or maybe your mother yourself, or something with that type of archetype of, you know, nurturing and connecting and that type of thing. So first we're going to pull from, let's do my favorite deck, because why not, right? This will kind of give us a little thing too. So we're going to use the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I hope I'm getting everything in here too, because it's hard to kind of gauge that when I haven't done it in a while. So we're going to ask for some guidance from our angels, ancestors, higher self, spirit, universe, God, whatever you connect with. Ooh, okay, and we have the upper world. Okay, so this is kind of like the spirit world. This is something from above, kind of like, this is our ancestors. In shamanism, a lot of times the upper world is, you know, those that we go on to be, kind of. These are like the angels, you know, the angels, ancestors, that type of thing. So I'm going to read from the book real quick, just because I don't get this card that often. But I feel like this is important for me to read the book for somebody. Okay. All right. Angels, divine helpers, the ancient ones, all varieties of luminous beings populate the upper world. It is a place where you go to retrieve your destiny and find out who you will become, discover your great potentials and undreamt of possibilities. It is also the place where the spirits of the dead arrive when they complete their journey to the light. So maybe there's some type of passed on loved one that this has a theme with for somebody. Yeah. The upper world is calling you to step into a fully realized self, clear distractions so that you can move into a higher destiny. Do not fall to the temptation to craft a slightly more improved version of yourself. What you perceive as a problem or an obstacle is in fact the irritation you need, isn't it always, to take the great leap. Remember, you cannot cross the Grand Canyon in just 2 small steps, or 2 small jumps, it says. Okay, so that's beautiful. I'm going to put this here because, yeah. So maybe that means something to somebody. All right, so I actually got a new deck, so I'm going to use it. It is from MJ Cullinane, you know, the one who makes the Liminal Forrest Oracle, and she also makes the Crow Tarot. This is the Grimalkin's Curious Cat Tarot, and it's got 80 cards because there's 2 extra in there. So we're just going to do like I normally do, okay? So whoever this person is that dealing with themes of home and nurturing and the mothering self, that type of thing. Maybe you need to kind of nurture that deeper, darker side of yourself. With the 8th house, I kind of feel like definitely that darker feminine. And when we say darker and we say feminine, that is not a definite thing. That's not like an absolute female person. That is not a definite dark part of ourselves. These are the deeper parts of ourselves. And I feel like that 8th house, Scorpio feel, is exactly that. That's the house that's kind of like that depth of our true self that a lot of times we tuck deep down inside because you feel like it's too much or it's not enough, right? So I feel like somebody's being called to nurture that. And maybe this is from like a past unloved one, but it could just be from your higher self or from, you know, something that's trying to tell you that this is whatever your destiny is, okay? It involves unpacking that and really being at home with that deep part of yourself, okay? So our first card is going to be, you know, what's the energy of this person? Okay. And these are new cards, so they're going to be so squished together. Let's kind of like, yeah, I'm going to do it like this just because, you know, I have so many. They're brand new. Oh, 7 of Cups. Lots of possibilities. Look at that cute little kitty cat. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. I love these cards. I love all her stuff. So maybe this is somebody who is having a lot of decisions. A lot of times, you know, the 7 of Cups can be having a lot of options in, you know, those watery places. That can be like spiritual options, or, you know, maybe you're being overwhelmed with so many possibilities in a creative project, a love type of thing. So we'll go from there. Either way, it's emotions. So maybe somebody's having a lot of confusing emotions. That could just be it too. So my second column, you know, is always what is the, I hope this is going to show all of this, but what the thing we need to kind of focus on is. So we'll go from there. Ooh, I got one. Yay. I'm going to, well, it gave me 2. It said the stars. The star is supposed to be, then it's supposed to be. All right, strength. Aw. I just love these cards. They're so freaking cute. All right, so strength. Okay, so maybe you need to focus on that that strength, because a lot of times, you know, especially when we are dealing with those deeper parts of ourselves, and if they are emotional, it is really hard to kind of like not be reactive, right? And we have to have that gentle nature. And what is it? What is the strength card telling us? The strength card is she's not actually taming lions, she's taming the beast within, right? So this cat too, she's he or she is really embracing who they really are. I mean, you see like the infinity symbol, and you see the butterfly, and I feel like this is a lot about, you know, that transformation. And those are lilies. Lilies a lot of times is peace. And there's poppies in here too, if that means anything to anybody, but it's about generating that inner peace and kind of banishing that deep, darker self. I say that, but that's not what I mean. Banishing that like part of ourselves that make us feel like we're not enough. It's being strong with the confidence to be soft, right? It's strong confidence. It's not, you know, being aggressive out of fear. If you're aggressive or if you're strong, it's because you're powerful and you know that you're powerful and you're strong in your convictions. It's not strength out of fear or anger. It's strength out of inner power and really understanding who you are. Okay, so my next card is our assets. I hope you can see all these. Okay, we have the Queen of Swords. Ain't she pretty? All right. Yeah. So the Queen of Swords. Yeah. Queen of Swords has been there, done that. So this is somebody who has been through it. You know, you're probably somebody who has had a lot of experiences. You know, in the tarot, she has lost her husband. And so she's kind of had to take over the kingdom. And, you know, sometimes it can also be represented that her, she's been through a divorce or things like that. This is somebody who's been through some hard times and they've gained wisdom through this. This to me, the Queen of Swords is my experience card. So somebody who has taken the things that they have encountered or they've gone through, and rather than letting them push them down, they're using them to kind of guide them and guide others. This is an experienced and very knowledgeable, experienced leader. I'm going to kind of squish these over here. So that way, if my camera is not showing everything, you guys will see that. Okay. Last one is kind of going to be like your last step or what, you know, the advice is. I'm hoping to not make these too long because, you know, we'll see. I got kids are off today. I took the day off because I didn't have any sleep. So I was cranky. And you know. Alright, come on, I just need one. Oh, and I got two, so let's do this. Okay, I'm going to go like this. Okay, Four of Swords. Okay, so the next step is, you know, really kind of contemplating those emotions, maybe taking some time for stillness so that those emotions don't overwhelm us. A lot of times that's also a meditation card. That's, you know, needing rest, whether you're needing rest physically or mentally or emotionally. A lot of times just sitting with yourself. And I know we talk about meditation all the time. Not everybody can meditate. I remember there was this one guy who, I can't remember his name, I always forget it, but he's like this, he has this big YouTube channel, and he was a Buddhist monk, and he is a psychiatrist, and he talks about how doing the Om sounds in meditation is really good for people with like ADHD or people who can't concentrate, because the way you're doing it, you're actually noticing the sounds, because people with ADHD or who have kind of like a difficulty blocking out things, a lot of times what we do is we focus on the little details. And if you're able to kind of notice, like say that you're, you know, deep breathing is another thing too. If you're noticing the little things like that, rather than the thoughts kind of, you know, overtaking your mind. And we're not forgetting about the thoughts. A lot of times it's a good time to really sit with those thoughts. But what you're doing is you're allowing those thoughts to pass through you. And you're using your internal insight. So maybe something might spontaneously come up from that, those thoughts. Whereas before you're going to overthink the details. But it's not so much about that. It's about allowing yourself to come to you what's naturally and not being distracted by all the extra. Okay. We have the King of Swords on the bottom. So maybe this is somebody with, you know, King and Queen of Swords. This could be your masculine and feminine. I always say that, I don't know why. Feminine self kind of joining together, or it could be about a couple, who knows. A very intellectual, perhaps older and mature couple. And then we have the Tower on the top. So something drastic either has happened or will happen. The Ace of Cups. So this is a gift. That Tower has kind of been a gift for whoever this is. And, you know, I could say if you've had a Tower, but we all kind of go through those constantly, right? Okay, so I'm going to pull another Oracle card. I'm not sure which one yet. Let's go with her theme, and we will pick a Liminal Forrest Oracle. Okay. To kind of help us along the second row. Whoa. Okay, bargaining. And intuition came out too. So, and creativity. So I'm just going to take all of those. So, okay, bargaining, creativity, and intuition. Bargaining to me kind of feels like, again, like that overthinking. It's like, you know, you have that, you know, you're kind of like, well, this is really hard and I don't want to do it. So I'm going to think of a way to kind of like not do it the hard way. So it's kind of like sidestepping yourself in a way. But it can also be like cooperation too. It can be like, see this little mouse is, or I think this mouse is chipmunk, Chippy. It's a chipmunk and he's trying to give him a strawberry. I'll give you a strawberry if you don't eat me. So it's kind of like that. It's like, you know, bargaining either with yourself or with the universe or whatever, because maybe you're overwhelmed with stuff. And I feel like rather than doing that, you really kind of need to clear out and use your intuition in whatever this is. And creativity. The creativity can be like this is a creative project, but it also can be about, you know, having the ability, like I always say that the Seven of Swords kind of energy, that is kind of like my, how you, you know, you can kind of see things in a different way, you know, being able to think outside of the box and be kind of inventive in the way that you do things. All right, so what do I want to do for my bottom row? Okay, I think I'll use this deck because I haven't used it in a while. All right. And it's stiff, so, and then I hope you guys can see this. I like this, but I think it's busy and it bothers me. As an ADHD person, I don't know about you, but like when I see stuff on text, I like to have the night mode on because then the white jumps out at me. Too much white like on text and stuff, it overwhelms me. I don't know why. Oh, Nine of Cups. Okay, so we have the Seven of Cups and Nine of Cups. So this is definitely having a lot of emotions. And maybe this is really somebody who is, maybe you're overwhelmed with, you know, good stuff. So maybe you're satisfied, but it might be also a creative thing too. It's like you're not sure where to go because you have so much, you know, things happening that are kind of sparking your intuition and sparking your inner happiness right there, you know. Or this could be that maybe you're finally finding that. Maybe there is something by using your creativity and your intuition, you are able to kind of find that thing, that Nine of Cups that kind of makes you feel less clouded, right? And so what you would need for a Nine of Cups to out of a Seven of Cups would be Two of Cups, right? So maybe that's the connection. Maybe that's what you found. Okay. And so we are going to go to what we need to work on with that strength. We know we got to be strong in a loving and soft way, right? Battling them demons. Okay. And the moon. Okay. So the moon a lot of times can be so many things. This can also be, I don't know why this is coming to me, but this feels like embracing that shadow side. You know what I mean? Like we talk about banishing, like, you know, that demon within, that monster within. But I feel like the moon here, and this is 8-8. Well, no, it's 18, sorry. And this is kind of talking about like blending those two parts of ourselves. And allowing that, our whole self, you know what I mean? Because the moon, what does the moon do? The moon doesn't have its own light per se. The moon reflects the sun. So it kind of like, but it does it in a way that we can see the sun, right? So your shadow side, that deeper part of yourself that we're trying to like, you know, not show other people. What it does is it actually allows you to blend the two parts of yourself, the outward side that you show everybody that, you know, you're not afraid to show. And then the inward side that maybe you are kind of afraid to show. I feel like this is saying, blend those two parts of yourself, the masculine and the feminine, and really try to kind of like absorb that in a way that you feel whole, because feeling whole is important. Okay, I got two. I don't need two. Okay. Queen of Swords, another asset. Oh. Okay. All right, so we got the Six of Wands. As an asset with the Queen of Swords, whatever this is, there's support and success, right? And whatever this is that you're going through. I feel like you will be supported. If it is like a project, if it is like a relationship, if it is something like internal, I feel like people will support you. I feel like if you really kind of bring up, you know, and that authentic part of yourself and really nurture that deeper part of yourself, you have support. You might have support from this person in the other world, in the upper world. So I feel like that's what this is saying. Okay. And the last card, and then we'll do one more oracle, and then I'll let you guys go. I hope you can see all this. I can't tell because everything's suspended above me. So, ooh, okay. So we have the Page of Cups. Four Swords and the Page of Cups. Okay, so the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is that innocent, like, you know, look how she's like looking at the cups. Like, oh, I can't tell if it's a she, if it's a It doesn't matter. But, you know, they're really excited, this child anyway, about this cup, because, you know, they're focused on this cup. And a lot of times that's the Page of Cups energy. They're so focused on the thing that gives them joy. And, you know, it's like, you know, that puppy love kind of feeling. But it's like having puppy love about everything. So maybe that's something you're afraid of. Maybe you're afraid to like let that inner child just play. So I feel like the Four of Swords is telling you to kind of like relax, you know, give yourself time to kind of sit with those over emotions and all these feelings, right? And all these things, and nurture that inner child a little bit. Okay, we have the Five of Pentacles, High Priestess, and the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so that's having stability and being able to sit back and notice that. Okay, so one more card. What am I going to use? Oh, I'm going to use the Santa Muerte Oracle because I love it. Okay, I'm going to close out with Santa Muerte Oracle and we'll go from there. That's my furnace. Because I'm in the basement. Oh, I guess that one wanted to come out. Ooh, I love these cards. They're so pretty. So, okay, which one is that? Number 24. I don't know this one that well. Oh, Flux. Okay. The last card of the World of Formations shows us that we can only obtain self-realization and do significant things in the world if we understand that our present is generated and connected by every kindness and every crime of the past in a continuous flow. We are like the antenna that can receive and transmit the original light that comes from the 8th card of emanations, which also reaches us through our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors, and through the forms we have given our gods. I love that he says that too, the forms we have given our gods, because I think a lot of people, you know, we don't understand that a lot of times these archetypes, it's energies that we embrace, right? Like the gods and goddesses. If you think about that, like, you know, thousands of years ago, that's how they explained things, you know what I mean? And I think sometimes we take things so literal that we kind of miss the point and we don't embody those, and that's the whole point. Even if there is like some archetype out there that's kind of guiding you, because I do think there's something, I just don't think it has a label on it, right? That's how our brains can do it. But you're supposed to embrace that. So if something is coming to you, if you're getting like hints or hits from like a certain entity or whatever, it's an archetypical, like, right, I don't even know if that's a word, person or a goddess or something like that. That's the energy that you're supposed to be working with. So I think it's a focus to really understand like how internal these things really are supposed to be. So, in the advice of the dead, remember that you are the one in the present holding your future, and that if you want this future to be positive, you must first look inside yourself. Because every action you decide to take in the world is nothing but a reflection of yourself. So much true, so true. I'm all about personal responsibility. So, I think this is good. I really feel like this is somebody who is trying to be softer to themselves with those, you know, what they perceive as like a dark self, right? When really it's not. It's just like a gentler, more reflective side that we don't really like, you know, it's kind of personal. And it's good to be personal, but at the same time, it's really good to kind of adapt these things, because the more whole you are, the better you are able to handle everything, right? So I hope that meant something for somebody today, and I will talk to you later.